strategies going. We need to kind of work with the other two parties to see what's working and what's not working. Some plans we will be able to discuss with y'all, and some plans we will not. But there's a few things I'd like to discuss with you that we did come up with. Some strategy points. They said, you know, everybody needs to know who is who in the zoo. And that basically means who are our friends and who are not our friends up in the legislative session. So we need to research the candidates. We need to study the bills. And unfortunately, the Texas Tribune, which is a left organization, has the very best information on our legislators and also bills. Now I'll show you real quick so y'all can look at it, what they have available. If you go to texastribune.org, sessions, 83R/bills, you see this map. And each little block is a topic that they have legislation on. So I enlarged a few so you could see it. So there's taxation, property interest, criminal, education. The lighter color is House, and then the darker color is the Senate. You can just click on it. If you want to know what bills have been introduced on taxation, just click on it, and it will pull up all the bills. Very, very nice. And then they also have, this one shows all of the bills that have been introduced by the representatives. So here in the corner is Jim Pitts. He has introduced bills. Senator Burgle has not as of yet. As soon as, they are really good. As soon as something gets introduced, it gets posted up there. So if you click on Jim Pitts's box, it takes you to his page, and then it lists all the bills that he has introduced or co-sponsored. So it's an awesome website. It's the best in Texas that we have, and it's very up to minute. So we have to get to know our legislators and what they're doing. So Jim Pitts has introduced 10 bills. I did not print off the first one because it's the appropriations bill, which is very large. But I'm looking for volunteers. We need to start studying what he has introduced to see if it's good or not. If it's bad, we need to let him know it's bad. If it's, or help him with it, so it will be good. But we need to know what's going on. So I'd like to have 10 volunteers. They're not big. A lot of them are one-pagers. So it'd be real easy to just do some research and then share with us what you have found out so we know whether we need to take action or not. I have reached the age where I need reading glasses now. So I'm going to tell you what the bill's about. If you would like to just raise your hand, I'll give it to you, study it for 2 weeks, and then you can either write an email and get it back to the Tea Party so we can share it with everybody. So the first one is relating to the execution of a search warrant for taking blood specimens from certain persons in certain intoxication offenses. Anybody like to volunteer to do a little bit of research on this? TJ. Thank you, TJ. Okay, the second one is relating to prohibiting using wireless communication devices while operating a motor vehicle on school property.
All right, Commissioner's Court.
Anybody?
Some homes are already lit on school property, right? So he's saying
I think what he was saying, when I spoke with him last, he said schools have contacted him because parents are not paying attention to what they're doing, and they're waiting on their kid to come out of school, but they're on the phone and then starting their car, you know, so. And as you're researching it, really think of, is it constitutional or not? And then come up with reasons, you know, no, it's not constitutional, you need to amend this. Okay, the next one, related to the execution of mineral interests from property interests that may be condemned by the regional tollway authority.
I'll take that.
Thank you. Okay. This is a 3-pager. They're not long at all. Related to the eligibility of inmates convicted of certain intoxication offenses for the release on parole or mandatory supervision.
We don't want the same people doing this.
Why did TJ volunteer for all these ones to talk about drunkenness and drinking?
Volunteer to do this, get with your neighbor, get with somebody else in this group, study it, and it's a great way to get involved. you know, you can start, if you like it or don't like it, start a campaign to,
And actually, this is the first time we've ever done anything like this, so we're, you know, it's gonna be up to you how much time you want to spend in it. It'll be a learning experience for all of us. Anybody can kind of just read it and see what's, you know, what are our legislators doing. Okay.
No need to close.
No. Relating to the remittance of certain taxes and fees and the allocation of certain state money. Any volunteers?
Is there a summary statement about it?
I'm sorry, what?
Is there a summary statement on that one?
You know, if you go and click on the
Yeah, but
bill,
it's like, on here, if we have a summary statement, then we're more likely to understand what we're.
yeah, you know what, I tell you what, I'll just read them and I'll leave them up here, and then if people want to come up and look, because, you'd almost have to read the whole thing. And you probably have to do some research as well as you're reading it. But the thing of it is, in the past, you know, we say we need to get involved, we need to do things. But then the legislative session is over, and they have already voted, and there's nothing else you can do. So while we're in session, if we want to be active, right now is when we need to be doing things if we want to make change. And it's just, again, educational. Learning, getting better as we go. Okay, this is relating to the authority to issue bonds of the Rocket Special Utility District. If people want to.
I'll take that one.
All right.
You live out there in the rocket.
Okay, this one is 7 pages, and Jim Pitts is a co-sponsor. Relating to firearms and the preservation of the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and providing penalties.
Linda, I've already researched that one, and it's got a big loophole in it. Can I see the bill?
Sure.
In this bill, let's see. It's a good, really good bill, but until you get to section 2, I believe, yep. Section 2 discusses chapter 46 of the Penal Code, and basically what it does in here is it gives any federal officer or state officer, basically anybody who's trying to confiscate your guns, it gives them defense in court if they can just prove that they had statutory orders from the federal government.
No, that's wrong.
So, it's a
At least say who you are.
Your ears burning?
No, they did though. No, I just, Nelson, I came over, in town tonight for the Casa dinner, and Nelson didn't even know you guys were here tonight. And so Nelson comes over and says, hey, come in and say hey real quick. So I thought I'd come in. I'm for those of you that don't know, I'm State Senator Brian Birdwell. I have the privilege and honor of being your current serving state senator. And so I wanted to come in and say hey. And but I didn't mean to be such an intrusion. Linda, it said C and D, so I wasn't sure which door to come in, you know? It's like door number 1, door number 2, door
You
number 3.
did great,
so.
because I didn't give you much direction.
Oh, well, Nelson, I need much direction, as you know. So, anyway, thank you, Linda. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all take care, okay? All right.
Well, that was a nice surprise.
That's our representation for this year.
This one is related to the use of a public school student's performance on the end of course assessment instrument in determining the student's final grade of the course. I'll actually take it because I'm very interested in education, unless somebody else wants it. Okay,
this is a great way to get involved, and you can call on anybody in here to study with you on these bills.
And I guess
Great way to get involved.
there's no right or wrong because we've never done this before. We're all learning. Okay, this is the biggest one, and it actually has to do with Midlothian. So I suggest whoever takes this lives in Midlothian. It's 24 pages, and it says it's relating to the creation of the Windsor Hill Municipal Management District Number 1, providing authority to levy an assessment and issue bonds. Any Midlothian residents who would like to tackle? Thank you. All right, that was it on the bills. I'm looking for, if y'all could send whatever you find out to info@elliscountyteaparty.org. Then we'll try to compile it and get it out to people. Yes.
Can I say something? My name's Teresa Beckmeyer, and I'm from out in West Texas, and I do a lot with the San Angelo Tea Party and the Abilene Tea Party.
Right.
And the reason that it's so important to look at these bills, I'm working with my legislative board right now, working on drafting some bills. They will tell you, when you go in here, study these bills, see if it's good or bad. If it's a bad bill, if that office gets 10 phone calls against a bill, they will, a lot of times, not push it anymore. So it doesn't take a lot of constituents calling, but if you have just 10 calling on the same exact one, they're going to listen to you. And it would be better to study these bills and let the people have a choice of whether or not we want something going through and to voice our opinion so that bad bills don't get passed. That's why this is important.
Thank you for that. That's good, very good.
What is the deadline again on when we'll pass or not pass these bills?
Well, session is going on right now. I
The
don't know.
deadline on filing bills is March.
March the 8th.
8th.
Right, and they don't start discussing them until after that deadline.
They
Is that
generally
correct?
pass to a committee, and then that's when they become
Right.
discussed.
But it's good to know, or at least have read the bills that our legislator is introducing.
And they're already talking about those bills now.
Right.
So call your people, because they're already deciding what they think about these bills before they ever get committee.
I want to try something different for this meeting. I think it would be good if we start doing it every meeting. I got little note cards, and we have, you know, on the federal level, we have Senator Cruz and John Cornyn, and then on the Texas side, we have Representative Jim Pitts, who's also here today. I don't know, he probably will not show up. And then Senator Brian Burnwell. Take a little note card and write them a little note, say, hey, I'm concerned about this, thank you for this, I don't like this, just write a little note. So every week after we've had our meeting, they're gonna get an envelope from us. Doesn't have to be long, it could be something nice, it could be something, you know, that you're concerned about. But let's just touch them with a note, a personal note from us, which will be different than an email, because an email is easily ignored. But if they get an envelope with 30 or 40 little notes, you know, they might get their attention, at least let them know we're here. So if you would like to do that, just put on who it's to, and then leave it in the back at the end. Right now? Oh. If y'all read my...
You got a hand right back there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where's the good one?
I was thinking that if we had all of this information and we got the report back like next meeting, we do a vote in here and hand that vote off to that man. And that way we have all these people participating firsthand. Yes, it's good, it's bad, yes or no. Everybody here put down yes or no and sign your name. And that way we will have a preliminary vote prior to it going.
I think that's a great idea. I would like to,
I'll second that, Al. I think that's a great idea, and a great way that everybody can get involved. So,
By the way, Linda, while you're right here at this, we need to remind everybody when our next Tea Party meeting is, before everybody leaves.
going back to our meeting that we had in Temple when we met all the other tea parties, one of the things they said, you know, the Tea Party's name among some people is not very good, so we really need to work hard on being credible in our community. People, we need to look at ways that we can make an influence. This month is Black History Month, and I've been thinking, wouldn't it be great if we could show the movie Runaway Slave, advertise it, find a church that will host it. I'm thinking about a church that might do it. And then try to get some of our African-American friends to come to that, because it's such a great movie that discusses racism and why it's still going on in our country. If you have not seen the preview, go online and watch it. But I bought the movie, I should get it in a couple of days, so I'm gonna try to organize something that, you have it?
No, we didn't.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll get that organized, yes.
What? Look, if a number of people have written to Brian Birdwell complaining about his stance on, notifications,
Okay.
right here, excuse me a moment. What if we write open letters to those that are published in the local paper?
I think a blitz on all of the above, but the more people he hears on it, the more he's
Yeah.
gonna look at it.
But an open letter, if it gets published as an editorial, I would think he's really gonna look at that, because that's reaching a lot of people, making other people aware.
I understand, I think we need to hit it on all fronts.
Harlan does some really good research, and Harlan, maybe we can send that out, what you have figured out on that.
The other approach would be, if you got all of our emails, you send us that petition, we sign it, send it back, and we send it off too. Because most of us do it on email. I have done a lot of that petitioning, the Rand packs and a bunch of other stuff. And if we as a Tea Party would do that, then he gets 500 emails saying, oh my gosh, Texans are really for it, you know.
But I have heard, emails are good, letters are better,
Yeah.
personal is even the best. Is everybody on the Ellis County Tea Party email list? Are you getting it? Go to elliscountyteaparty.org and just request. Henry, what do you do? Click on sign in or do?
I think it says sign up for our email.
Sign up for, yeah, it should be very, very simple. Then another thing that I'm presuming most people in here have Facebook, and Waxahachie Daily Light has a Facebook page, and they will post questions every week. And it's a great opportunity for us to put a conservative voice out. I don't have an example right now, but many times there's questions, and you can just get a message out to the people, because a lot of people don't really understand the conservative message. I know the meeting has gone a little bit long. There's two issues going on right now that are really hot topics, and people who are not involved in political things are interested in. One is C-scope in our educational system, and the other one, of course, is the Second Amendment. And even Democrats will agree with, a lot of them will agree, but they do not want to give up their guns. So that you have an opportunity with just those two topics to get, to start a conversation. And then just developing relationships with people who are not necessarily with us. Unity in the Community is a great organization in Ellis County that I would like to do some things with. Just get to know people, let them get to know us. And of course, reaching out to teachers and using CISO would be a great way to do that. I'm not sure if it's going to be next month or in April, but Alice Linehan, the Voices in Power, is going to come to our Tea Party and give us a workshop on how we can become better connected. The people in the county are the passive majority. They don't really do much. They are not really involved. Then you have the engaged minority. And I would say that is the people who are on our emailing list. They don't necessarily come to the meetings, but they stay in tune, they listen to the news. And then you have the connected authority. Now that's those of us who come out to the meetings, and we need to be equipped to really start broadening our horizons. So when we talk to the engaged minority, we can try to get them more active, or even reach out to the passive majority and get them involved as well. Anyway, that's all I have. Can I see a raise of hand? How many of you did you hear Dr. Benjamin Carson speak at the breakfast this morning? I want to. I'm just going to show you all a 3-minute clip of his speech. He was invited to the prayer breakfast in D.C. and he was speaking with President Obama right next to him. And he hit it on every issue. Yes. Go home, watch this movie, and and to send it out to everybody. It needs to go viral. It is awesome.
Now, this is just a 3-minute clip. It's a 30-minute deal. It is awesome. I mean, awesome.
That's it for me. Thanks for being here.
Why is it so important that we educate our people? Because we don't want to go down the same pathway as many other pinnacle nations who have preceded us. I think particularly about ancient Rome. Very powerful. Nobody could even challenge them militarily. But what happened to them? They destroyed themselves from within. Moral decay. Fiscal irresponsibility. They destroyed themselves. And if you don't think that can happen to America, you get out your books and you start reading. But you know, we can fix it. Why can we fix it? Because we're smart. We have some of the most intellectually gifted people leading our nation. All we need to do is remember what our real responsibilities are so we can solve the problems. I think about these problems all the time. And, you know, my role model was Jesus. And he used parables to help people understand things. And one of our big problems right now, and like I said, I'm not politically correct, so I'm sorry, but, you know, our deficit is a big problem. Think about it. And our national debt, $16.5 trillion, you think that's not a lot of money? Tell you what, count one number per second, which you can't even do, because once you get to 1,000, you can't, it takes you longer than a second. But one number per second, you know how long it would take you to count the 16 trillion? 507,000 years. More than 500,000 years to get there. We have to deal with this. Here's the parable. A family falls on hard times. Dad loses his job or demoted his part-time work. He has 5 children. He comes to the 5 children. He says, we're going to have to reduce your allowance. Well, they're not happy about it, but he said, except for John and Susan. They're special. They get to keep their allowance. In fact, we may give them more. How do you think that's going to go down? Not too well. Same thing happens. Enough said. What about our taxation system? So complex. There is no one who can possibly comply with every jot and tittle of our tax and tax. If I wanted to get you or you, I could get you on a tax issue. That doesn't make any sense. What we need to do is come up with something that's simple. And when I pick up my Bible, you know what I see? I see the fairest individual in the universe, God, and he's given us a system. It's called tithe. Now, we don't necessarily have to do it 10%, but it's a principle.
All right, that's the clip. That is awesome, and I was dancing around, man. That gave me a thrill, and you had it right up my leg. You gotta know that man sitting 2 doors over to his right was boiling inside. It did me a lot of good to watch that. Say that one more time.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the entire thing, yes.
Oh, okay. You didn't show the part about the health.
No, it's, go home and pull that up on YouTube. Ben Campbell, what I said, Carson.
Well, and the other thing to know is this is a world famous physician
Yes.
who came from absolutely nothing
His
to the
mother,
pinnacle.
had a 3rd grade education, couldn't read. This was an awesome story by an awesome guy, and he put down our commander-in-chief two seats away from where he was standing. Man, you can't, that was awesome. We need to push that. Yeah, very well done.
And Michelle Obama,
We need to all take that position and do it. And we need to be more visible and I mentioned at the last meeting, we need to have a table at Wally World, at brochures, and we need to be presenting that message.
If they'll let us
And
do
we
that,
need
they're
to
not.
be more visible. We're
Bob won't
not
let us do
visible.
that anymore, but we do need to get out and be more visible.
Yes.
What I would like to, I am no longer on the leadership committee of this group. I am still very active in other areas. I have not gone away by any stretch. I see a lot of new faces in here, I see some old faces in here. I would like to see some of y'all truly, truly engaged. It's rewarding, it's frustrating at times. You're gonna meet a lot of people. Get plugged in, please.
Yes.
And it's not hard to do. You can do it in little ways and grow as you go. And your life will be enriched. Your families will be enriched. Our country
We'll be in.
will be enriched. We'll get to save a little section now, save a little section next week. 2 years from now, we got to get the population engaged.
Yes.
Please. That's all I got to say about that.
Hey, Marlon?
Yes, ma'am.
On that note on getting engaged, right now, you have everybody pulling packets, well, no, not nearly everybody, pulling packets to file for municipal and school board elections. That has already started. That goes until sometime in March. Everybody here lives in either a city council section or a school board district. And many of those races are going to be running unopposed because you didn't file. I'm guaranteeing that. Check and see who's up for election. Go pull a packet. Even if you don't decide to actually file that packet, go find out where to pull the packet, sign your name, read through it and see what's required of these people. Because I'm telling you, just pulling that packet and writing your name down is going to make heads spin back in those back offices.
The other thing is, if you're hesitant on whether you want to get involved or not, if you have children or grandchildren, look up C-Scope. Read what it is, read what they're doing and what they're doing to this country through C-Scope. It lit my hair on fire.
If they go to our Facebook page, in the meeting announcement, there's some links in it.
There's some links. Did everybody hear that? Links on our Facebook page that you can go to and find out some more about C-Scope. Terrible, terrible stuff for our kids. That's how they're taking over. Bill Ayers said, what we have to do is take over education. We take over education, we can take over the rest.
Redstate.com also has a good link to some info on C-Scope.
Okay. Please get involved. If you want some ideas on how to get involved and you don't know, contact me. I'll help you out with that. Plug in.
Oh, and one last thing. Johnson County, our neighbors right over here, are having their big fundraiser dinner next Monday, the 18th. So if you're interested in that, that's a $50 ticket. There's a lot of good people over there, and they could use some help. And that's another place to get plugged in.
Next month, we don't meet here on the second Saturday, but the third Saturday. Am I correct on that? The rest of the year, I understand, we're gonna meet here on the second Saturday of the month. But next month, we're going back to the third Saturday, so mark your calendars for that. Now, the kind of people we need in these offices representing us are, I think, people like Commissioner Paul Perry, who was here with part of his family tonight. I can't remember the last time we had anybody from Commissioner's Court come to one of our meetings. Do y'all remember it?
Yes.
Who?
During election time.
So, one of the things that Paul has already done is when they were rounding up their wagons down to Commissioner's Court to honor all the county employees with an expensive appreciation dinner, Paul was the only one that voted no. And that's what we need more of, is that kind of, Paul has been in conservative movements here in Atlas County for a long time, and then he's backing it up now that he's finally got elected to an office that has some authority. So when you see Paul, thank him for that, and let him know that we're behind him, to just stay there, don't change wagons on us. Say, Third Saturday next week, what do we got next month? Can't be third Saturday next week, and
A couple things I meant to mention real quick. One, we talked about voting on spending money and everything. I meant to mention this and I didn't remember. When we talked about suspending the debt ceiling, only 32 Republicans voted against that. Our representative, Joe Barton, was not part of that 30 group. He voted to suspend the debt ceiling. He voted right in December against allowing taxes to go up. He voted right on that one. But on suspending the debt limit, he voted in favor of suspending it. Now, and to talk about the video, one of the things you'll get catch. Everybody see the Super Bowl commercial of Paul Harvey, God Made a Farmer?
Yes.
Has anybody seen the YouTube video of God Made a Liberal?
Yes.
If you have not, Google and God Made a Liberal. Somebody has taken, and you will laugh yourself silly. It is funny to all get out. So anyway, I meant to pass that along.
correction. Next month, I want to see your faces here, smiling or not, on the second Saturday.
May is the only third Saturday.
I was just reminded by one of our ladies, are you a liberal gun toter? Yeah.
I took the class, I have not filed my paperwork.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take your class a couple of times.
see Charlie about that. Charlie, I'd like to go to your class. And,
well, we'll have a guys class. The reason I don't do guys classes, I went to an NRA instructor school for trainers. There's 10 guys, all alpha males, testosterone driven. They bring in donuts. There's one pink donut. No one will eat the pink donut. Don't know why. That's why I don't know. We'll set aside. I'm just.
Well, I hid your pink card, nobody can see it.
So next month, second Saturday, just like this month, then we'll remind you again about May being different. And, yeah, yes.
On the second Saturday, the Red Oak Opry we're competing with. We're competing with a whole lot of second Saturday events.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think we need to think about it.
We couldn't get this place on the third
Third
Saturday.
Saturday? Okay.
Maybe we need to go to some other place, but I don't know, maybe nobody would show
Well,
up.
I'm just thinking about people that are, when they gotta make a choice. You know, am I gonna go to the Opry?
We just need
I'm
to
biting my
get
tongue when you say that, you know.
I'm sorry?
I'm biting my tongue as you say it.
Oh, is that right?
Al, no matter when we have it, we have people that complain and say, that date's not good for me, can you do it on another date? We've had people say, we don't want it on Saturday nights, can you do it during the week? And we have a bunch of other people say, no, it has to be on the weekend. This place gives us
It does not matter what day you pick and which time during the month you pick.
This place gives us a real good rate because we're a little flexible on whether it's the second or third Saturday.
Okay, we've got a little long. Did everybody enjoy this tonight?
Yes.
Did you learn some things that you didn't know when you came here? Now, here's the key. You can take what you learned here, and you can go home and do nothing with it. Or you can take what you learned here, and you can get fired up a little bit, and you can share it with your neighbors, and people you go to church with. You can invite them to come back next month so that they can learn a little bit. Thank you to those who have taken the bills. This is an important initiative that we're doing here. And I want you to know that the steering committee of this group is extremely involved right now in working with these other tea parties that Linda talked about. We are putting together a statewide coalition so that when you come in here and you see 50 or 60 people or whatever we have in here and you think, well, we can't do much with us, with just that. But you can combine it with the Clear Lake Tea Party and the 912 group and Power Texans and all those things that are going on.
And then we began to speak with one voice, one unified voice. And then things start to get done. And that's what we're doing at this point. And we're going to have a lot more information for you about that as time goes on. But we need your support, those of us who are kind of on the front lines a lot. I was encouraged by the fact that some of you, other than the steering committee, took those bills tonight. And that's a very positive step. So let's all work hard. It's, to not do so, well, we don't even want to go there. So thank you for coming tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Everybody have a great evening.